There's only 2.5 days left until Sparkle, so let's get into her character preview. We're going to watch the trailer, and then I'm also going to talk about some of the cool things that I'm excited for when she drops. So, first, let's read this little mini story synopsis thing. A member of the Masked Fools, inscrutable and unscrupulous, a dangerous master of theatrics engrossed in playing roles, a woman of countless masks and many faces, wealth, status, power, none of this matters to Sparkle. The only thing that can lure her interest is amusement. Okay, based on that one paragraph, she's deserving of my 75 pulls. Even 150 if I miss, I don't care. Yep, she deserves it, okay. Traces. Jeez, got so big. Okay. When using basic attack, additionally regenerates energy. I don't know why they don't put in the numbers here. It's not like they're going to change it. But okay, so she's going to regain 10 energy if she uses her basic. So whether she uses her basic or her skill, it's going to equal the same amount. And since this additionally gained energy is going to be affected by the energy regeneration rate, unlike a Tingyun or Huohuo, for example, that means that you are going to be able to not have to worry about your energy rotations whatsoever. So no matter if you basic or skill, energy rotations are going to stay the same, which is a 3-turn guaranteed ult. Wonderful. So, Artificial Flower. The crit damage boost effect provided by the skill will be extended until the start of the target's next turn. So this pretty much only benefits follow-up characters, in the sense that, technically, I guess if you wanted to like pop your ult after you used your skill not on their turn, now you have that option. So unlike Bronya, where you have to make sure you use your ult right afterwards, then this could be a way of, for example, let's say like you attack with your boosted Sparkle turn with like your DPS, then you don't have enough energy, but let's say you have your Huohuo next turn, right? And then now you pop your ult, and now you get your ult up on your character. They're still going to benefit from this crit damage boost, but for the most part, it is just going to benefit follow-up characters like a Dr. Ratio or a Jing Yuan, for example. Wonderful. Bronya can't do that, so it's a very nice change to the Bronya thing. Next, Nocturne, or Nocturne. Whatever. Increases all allies' attack, additionally increases the attack of quantum-type allies based on the amount of quantum-type characters in the team. So it is going to be a nice little buff to mono-quantum teams, or you don't actually need to put all quantum, right? Because then you would have to put like Silverwolf on the team. So let's just say you put 2 Harmonies and like a Fushuan and then a Zila or a QQ, and then there you go. Or a Joie, of course. So that is going to be a pretty nice buff to quantum-type characters, but in a way you can also just take advantage of additionally increases the attack of quantum-type allies. Oh, actually, no, maybe not. Maybe you won't be able to increase the attack of your other characters who aren't quantum, even if you have like a Fushuan on the team. Although, since they don't word it, specifically, I don't understand exactly, but it's fine. Okay. As for the hell? Okay. As for the Ascension materials, it's just going to be that boss thing. Whatever that is, just that new stuff. It's so nice that they added this to the trace farming and the book farming, so now you have to farm even less, that's a big win. And this, you just need 65 of these things, so make sure you get 65 of those if you know you're going to get Sparkle. Next. So her technique. Using the technique grants all allies misdirect for a certain time. Characters with misdirect will not be detected by enemies, and entering battle in the misdirect state recovers a certain number of skill points for the team. So I think that's 2 skill points, although I don't remember. So I don't actually know how many skill points she gains. This is interesting because if you get your ult up on the first turn with Sparkle, and I'm not sure if you actually can. I gotta do the rotations again, because I know with Ron May you can, but without Ron May, I'm not sure if you use like a Bronya Lightcone, for example, or like an energy gaining Lightcone, you might be able to still get that, get it first turn, right? But regardless, you might run into the point where if you don't use enough skill points, then you are gonna have to wait a little bit on your ult to make sure that those 4 skill points from your ult don't overcap you to past 7, right? But other than that, this little, is that goldfish or is that masks? Masks, okay, yeah, that's wonderful animations, wow. Basic attack is basic, so the talent, while Sparkle is on the battlefield, additionally increase the max number of skill points by 2. Why do they not? Anyways, whenever an ally consumes 1 skill point, all allies' damage increases. This effect lasts for a certain number of turns and can stack up to a certain number of times. So this is interesting because this has like the team-wide damage buffs, which is kind of weird in the sense that, like, why would you even want to run a duo DPS with a Sparkle? But If you use like a Ron May, for example, and like a Topaz Ratio, that would be like a super, super cool team, because then you're buffing both characters. You get to action advance, you know, whichever one you want, and then Ron May is just buffing everybody, and then Sparkle is buffing everybody with the damage. So it is nice for certain team comps, although I don't know how much is actually going to benefit, you know, other allies, because with a action advancing like setup with like a Bronya or a Sparkle, the duo DPS, you know, it falls off a little bit, falls off a little more comparatively to using like a Ron May, kind of focusing on like a duo DPS instead of just action advancing one character. So that is kind of interesting. Now that I think about it, Bronya also is like a team-wide attack and crit damage buff on her ult, so I guess they both are similar in that sense. Next, skill increases the crit damage of a target ally for a certain number of turns. This also causes the target's action to be advanced forward, and when she uses it on herself, she won't get advanced forward. Okay, that is pretty nice. The 50% action forward is extremely similar to Bronya in the sense that it's not enough, or it's not like a low enough action advance, so like you're not going to notice it. It's just going to push you up so fast, because 50% is a lot. 50% action forward is a lot. So increasing the crit damage of the ally. The only thing that is a little bit unfortunate about this is that means that your skill, right, which is your action forwarding like mechanic, is going to scale off her crit damage, right? And because it scales off her crit damage, it's not going to be like a Bronya where it doesn't matter, like only her ult it scales off her crit damage. You just need to, you know, make you just need to boost them up, and you get like 100% of the damage boost. So this is going to mean that you are going to want like very good crit damage relics on Sparkle just to take maximum advantage of her skill, so that way you can transfer a good amount of crit damage to your ally and not feel like you're missing out, you know? Ultimate recovers a certain number of skill points for the team and grants all allies Cypher. For allies with Cypher, each stack of the damage boost effect provided by Sparkle's talent additionally increases by a certain percentage. So, lasting for a certain number of turns. So, pretty much, this is going to increase the damage boost from her talent, pretty much, and give you 4 skill points. So, that's kind of crazy. Just thinking about like 4 skill points every 3 turns is just going to allow for some crazy comps of where you're just like using a ton of skill points. Now note, Sparkle is pretty much going to always want to be using her skill, so it's not like a Bronya where you can transfer or you know, go from basic to a skill. So you're kind of neutral in that sense. In that sense, this ult is going to be a little bit less impactful than it sounds, just because of the amount of skill points she's going to be gaining herself. However, there's no character that gives you that amount of skill points, so it's not like you're not going to notice. It's just going to be a crazy, crazy buff for the whole team. Anyways, next, let's talk about this Lightcone Banner, because it is interesting, right? I love this art on this. Why is it so zoomed in? Okay. Still so zoomed in, Jesus. Okay. Earthly Escapade. It's so beautiful. It's such a good-looking light cone. Let's go over the skill, all right. Increases the wearer's crit damage by 32%. At the start of the battle, the wearer gains Mask, lasting for 3 turns. While the wearer has Mask, the wearer's allies have their crit rate increased by 10, crit damage increased by 28%. For every 1 skill point the wearer recovers, including skill points that exceed the limit, they gain 1 stack of Radiant Flame, and when the wearer has 4 stacks of Radiant Flame, all the stacks are removed, and they gain Mask for 4 turns. So, it is pretty damn good. Honestly, you can kind of use this on any Harmony character, assuming that, because you're going to start off with the full benefit, right? Them gaining the crit damage is not going to matter as much, but the Mask is going to be active for the beginning, and then at that point you're just going to want to be basicing until you get your 4 turns. So there's going to be 1 turn of downtime in between, but then that means you're going to have to be basicing every single time, and actually you wouldn't even want to do that. So the synergy is not like crazy with other characters. It's pretty much like a Sparkle light cone, although maybe there's some circumstances where you can throw it on Asta or something, and you know, it won't be terrible. So it is but for her, I mean, the fact that you gain that's 20, it's a 48 crit value to your whole party is, I mean, that's a lot of substats. That's like 4, that's 6, 12, 24, it's like 4, it's almost 5 plus, so that's about 9 subs of crit, which is pretty damn good, I gotta say. But is it worth it? Because unfortunately, we've got these on the banner, right? Now, Planetary Rendezvous is pretty much the best one, just because it is that, that same team damage boost, depending on what element they are. And it is a good light cone. However, let's go to Under the Blue Sky. This one, actually, now that I think about it, this is good. This is pretty good. I wonder what the S5 rating is. That's probably, 24% crit rate. So, not bad. Although Aeon is, very good option as well. But the crit rate is okay. So, it's not as bad. And, honestly, now that I'm, rating these in real time, I actually like all of these light cones. It's just comparatively to the last banner, or the banner we've got right now with Dance, Dance, Dance and Resolution, it's just such a big difference because those light cones have such a good value because they're Nihility and Harmony. This one, it's a little bit less, but now that I'm thinking about it, I love Genius Repose. It is similar to Seriousness of Breakfast, but if you can get this high in position, then it's pretty damn good. Honestly, the fact that Ron May is on the cover and you've got Jui here on the cover makes it so, you know what? If you want to pull for it, I think it's your discretion. It's a good idea. Honestly, I might be pulling for it now that I think about it. It's just such a good looking light cone, and even if I want to use Dance, Dance, Dance on Sparkle, just having the light cone might be a pretty cool thing to have. Yeah. So let's see here. Next, we've got the trailer. So let's just watch it. Let's just start it. This is the Japanese version, so the better version. I love this non-pigtails version of her. It is so wonderful. God, I wish they had a skin, or you could turn her into this in the middle of the battle. It's cool that they in Japanese, her name is still Hanabi. I didn't know that there was I don't know what the translation is. I don't know how that translates to Sparkle. Maybe it does, but personally, I'm actually a really big fan of the name Sparkle. Hanabi would have been very cool, but it's a good, good name. But Sparkle, I think, is a wonderful name. I love the name Sparkle, and also the fact that she's a theater kid, pretty much. It's just it takes me back to middle school and high school because I did 7 years of theater. So this is God, I can't wait for us.
仮面花火が楽しい時は君も笑ってる怒ってる時君も怒鳴ってる苦しんでる時君も泣いてる
By the way, I watched this 3 times already trying to figure out what the hell this meaning is. If you guys know, please put it in the comments because I tried to hyper analyze it and I gave up. I have no idea. Maybe it is that she's schizophrenic. I genuinely don't know.
その中にいるのが本当の花火なの君だったんだね大好きな仮面楽しいのに君は怒鳴ってる怒ってるのに君は泣いてる苦しんでるのに君は笑ってる君はじっとこっちを見てる花火は本物じゃない花火こそ花火だよだから人生はただの芝居だって気づいて降りようと思ったの舞台の下はもっと大きな舞台だから君はどう思う？一体誰が花火なの？
Wow. Actually, wow. I mean, compared to like, Huohuo's trailer, because Huohuo's trailer was just sick, turning Ultra Instinct in the middle of it. This is like a different, different change of pace, but I am a big fan. I love this trailer so much. So let's see what else we've got about Sparkle. So obviously, when it comes to the materials for Sparkle, you just want about 290 of these things if you want to max her. Now, personally, you don't even need to max her because she's not going to be gaining anything off her, off it. So the fact that she's going to need a crit damage body, speed boots, energy regen rope leaves her for an HP or defense orb. So as long as you have a maxed light cone and it's not like a 3-star light cone, then you might not even need to take her to 80 and you'll be fine leaving her at 70, 75. And I think it's like 170 or something if you want to max a 5-star light cone, although I don't remember the light cone specifically. Now, 65 of these Dream Flamer things. You're going to want 65 of those to make sure you can ascend her day 1, which is wonderful. As for her traces, I'm still farming them, so I'm not there yet, but you do want about, I think it's like 16, 19 of these things, and then like 70 of these, and then if you want to max her, it's like 160 of these things. But personally, I don't think you're gonna need to max her, it's her ult and her talent. Her ult and her talent, the multipliers, are not going to increase too much on the damage boost, so you can honestly keep her ult and keep her talent at 8, and then I'd recommend maxing her skill, because that is like the crit damage, like a percentage multiplier, it scales off her crit damage. So I would max her skill and then leave her ult and talent at 8. That's just like my recommendation. But I wonder how many that would be, like 14. So you get to save 28 plus 16, so you get to save 44 purple materials, as long as you just keep those 2 at 8, and then at that point you'd need maybe about like 110, 120 of these purple things. So that is pretty nice. Now for the light cones, really quick. Originally, I actually thought the synergy with this past self in the mirror, Ranmei's light cone, wasn't too good. But then now that I think about it, since she gets to consistently get her ult up, and if you're not using Ranmei on the team, it's an okay option. But obviously, the Briny light cone is going to be damn good. The Dance is going to be my favorite. If you want to go on a mono quantum team, you can use Planetary Rendezvous. Memories of the Past doesn't do anything very much. Coggers is whatever. And there's a Dreamville Adventure if you're like a free-to-play. This is not a terrible option. Now for Sparkle's Relics, pretty much as long as you have some crit damage on some pieces, I recommend just going for probably like some HP pieces. Obviously, you are going to want a 2-piece speed most likely. So once you get that 2-piece speed, you don't really need to go for any 4 pieces. You can go for a 4-piece speed if you want, but it's not necessary. In my opinion, just go for some bulk. Go for guard, for some damage reduction. Go for this, obviously, for the HP, and speed for speed. And for the planar ornaments, you don't need the 5 energy from like a what's it called, like a Penacony, for example. So instead of using the Penacony, you can just go for a, broken keel, increase crit damage even more. If you're using a, no, actually, yeah, you wouldn't really want to use this this fleet thing, so don't bother with fleet too much, but yeah, probably keel is going to be her best option. You could also go for a Von Whack, just to make her get like 3 actions in 1 turn if she's fast enough on the first turn. So Von Whack is going to be a pretty cool substitute, I will say. Yeah, but for the most part, I will say this Broken Keel probably is going to be her best ornament set. And then as for the stats, I mean, it's extremely straightforward. Obviously, this is HP, this is attack, this is going to be a crit damage. I don't have any crit, there it is. Crit damage, speed, and then HP or defense. Whatever, you get the point. And then obviously energy regen. So extremely simple to build when it comes to relics. Now for the characters that I'm like really excited to use her with, clearly Dr. Ratio. I'm excited to see how she pairs up with him. It's going to be a good combo. The fact that she gives that damage boost to both characters means that Topaz and Numby is also going to be a great synergy for a Sparkle / Dr. Ratio team comp. Sphila, the Quantum is going to be a pretty sizable buff. It's going to be nice. The extra skill points is also going to make it so if you want to be spamming your skills, it's fine. Although I do like thwacking with Sela just to get that action advance. So the Imbibitor is obviously going to be a wonderful, wonderful synergy. I don't even need to talk about it, how good it's going to be. So I'm I am excited to see what my E2 specifically Imbibitor is going to do with Sparkle, because that is going to be pretty damn cool. As for Jingliu, characters like Jingliu and Blade that don't use too many skill points, like the skills aren't really going to help too much, but if you want to be like spamming skills with Pela, for example, or something like that, I mean, it's she's going to be a great buffer nonetheless. So it's not like all of her value comes from her skill points. The damage is great, the crit damage is great, so the action advance is great, just a great character overall. Zhui, I'm gonna use her with Zhui just because. Is there any like particular synergy? The follow-ups don't really matter because she gains the follow-ups on her own turn. Although actually, if you were to get the follow-up on another character's turn, so like you get one stack and then you trigger the follow-up, then that follow-up gets buffed. So it is actually going to be pretty good with Zhui. So I'm very excited for that in particular. Obviously, the Clara for some follow-ups, gonna increase your damage of the follow-ups after her turn. So that's going to be a pretty damn good synergy, and the action advance might make her get her ults up faster too, so Clara is going to be a good one. Misha, I don't want to talk about you. Well, so I don't have my QQ leveled up on this account, but QQ obviously is going to be such a fun team. I really hope I can somehow get lucky and pull Sparkle on my second account, but I don't have enough pulls, so we'll see what happens. But if for some reason I do, then I'm going to be posting some QQ Sparkle 0 cycles, definitely. But yeah, for the most part, that's just some of like the basic synergies. But I am so excited to see how she fares with some of these team comps, because she's going to act as like not necessarily a replacement to Bronya, but you can almost use her with Bronya if you want. Now you have 2 Bronyas for both teams, as long as you're not using like a dot team. So it's going to be pretty fun to now have a second action advancing unit that's not tied behind a 1/7 chance unless you get that selector. And as for the Lightcones, the fact that she has so many good options outside of her signature means that you don't need to stress if you don't pull her Lightcone whatsoever, right? Pair that with the fact that she's got probably one of the coolest goldfish animations, Summons a goldfish. I love goldfish. Used to be my favorite fish. Maybe this still is my favorite fish because I don't care about fish anymore. But, wow. Not to mention her normal long hair with like the minus the, the theater makeup and everything. Oh, wow. I can't wait. 2.5 days. It's only 2.5 days. 2.5 days. 2.5 days. 2.5 days. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I will do it. I will do it. Okay. That's the end of the video. If you guys have any suggestions or ideas, please leave it in the comments and let's talk about it. Okay, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and adios.